Hello, I'd like to introduce the AWL Continuous Lab Scale Filter. It's patent pending both in the UK and a worldwide application, and it's the first commercially available system. The filtration process is based on the traditional Nooch filtration. We use vacuum to separate the liquid from the solids, and we chose to go this route simply to avoid revalidating current batch processes when converting them to continuous. In terms of materials, this particular model uses a polypropylene material, borosilicate glass and PTFE. We can also offer the systems in PEEK polymer and also C22 alloy. Once this unit is running, you also have the option to link it with other pieces of equipment upstream and downstream. So you can take any crystallization process, reaction if necessary, and feed it directly into this continuous filtration. It has a buffer system. It doesn't need it, but it's purely to make it more flexible to facilitate product coming from crystallizers in a continuous way or conventional batch way. The lab scale system is 2.5 litres per hour. We also offer 8 litres and 20 litre per hour systems. The 8 litre and 20 are aimed at pilot scale and also in some cases production scale. We also offer ATEX rated systems on skids, and they can be fully integrated into a control system for a hazardous area operation. So with even these outputs that I've mentioned, 2.5 litres, 8 litres per hour and 20 litres an hour, it gives a massive advantage in the validating process of pharmaceutical and fine chemical production. You can effectively validate your process in the laboratory at small scale. You can multiply the number of elements to give you pilot scale, or use pilot scale throughputs, multiply it to give you production scale outputs. Massive advantage that you validate in the lab or pilot scale, multiply the elements, and then in theory you don't need to revalidate the system again for production. Other advantages: you could have 10 modules equivalent to current production batch volumes. You could have 1 in cleaning, 1 in maintenance, and still have 80% of your system running constantly for 24 hours a day. These small units can be linked with crystallizers, reactors. The filter is designed to accept continuous feed, discontinuous feed, and be very flexible in how it accepts slurry from upstream processes. You can also connect the filter directly to a continuous dryer, and then when you put these elements together of reaction, crystallization, filtration and drying, you effectively have a production system on a boardroom table. So 4 small units, a small room, appropriate facilities, and effectively 4 tons per annum theoretical output. The main components of our laboratory scale continuous filter are the stirrer head, the slurry feed vessel or buffer vessel, the CIP vessel, wash solvent vessel, the continuous filter element in the center, a filtrate receiver, touchscreen control, and the structure itself houses an automated PLC and control system, including safety circuits to protect the operators. So in order to use the machine, we have to connect utilities. We need to connect a 4 to 6 bar compressed air supply to it, a vacuum source, and also a power supply of either 110 volts or 220 volts. Then we're ready to start charging the system. So we're now ready with the utilities connected to charge the system. 2 modes of operation. You can use the buffer vessel with a predetermined amount of slurry. In this case, we're using 25% solid contents dissolved in the solvent. It's also possible to use it directly from a continuous source piped into the buffer vessel. We also have to fill the CIP vessel with solvent and the wash vessel with solvent. And once these are charged, the system is now ready for use. So when you're ready to start the system, vessels charged with slurry and solvents, we need to go into the setup screen to put the base parameters in. So on the start menu, select settings, and you'll then see the current set points for the filtration feed timer, slurry feed timer and wash feed timer. We recommend that you start off with 20 seconds for filtration. It's a nominal value, and as experience is gained, you can reduce the amount of time in the filtration step to optimize the throughput. Slurry feed starts off at half a second. Again, it's a good starting point, but you may find you need to increase that towards 1 second in order to put more slurry into the system. And then for the wash, it's also starting point at half a second, probably increase a minor amount, but not much more than that. If we then press the next button, it gives us an indication of the rotation speed. That's more for setup and throughput tuning. If we go on to the next screen, it indicates the pressure set point at which the system detects that the filter plate has blocked. Some filtration processes will run all day without any intervention and cleaning. Some processes are a lot more sticky and they need to have a washing routine implemented to make the process continuous. It's currently set at 0.750 millibar, and that is a reasonable starting point. To change these values, simply touch the screen, enter in the keypad the desired value, and enter, and it will change it. Press it next again to reveal a transfer setting. Routine and control allows you to transfer in from a crystallizer reactor automatically. There's a transfer timer interval, so for example, a crystallizer may take several minutes to crystallize. After that period of time, it'll automatically transfer the slurry from the crystallizer into the filter. It's simply a case of enable transfer button, activates it. If you're running the system alone, it defaults to off, but it's worth checking it's in the off position before you start processing. At any point within these screens, if you push the W, it will bring you back to the main menu. So we're now ready to start the automatic filtration cycle. So we select automatic, and it reveals the various timers that we've entered into the setting pages. Top left, you have the pressure in the system, 20 seconds on the filtration timer, half a second on the slurry timer, and half a second on the wash timer. On the left side of the screen, it indicates the position of the discharge mechanism, green indicates it's retracted, and red indicates it's descended. Underneath, there's a status bar which shows where the system is, currently shown as stopped. In the middle, it shows positions of the slurry valve, wash valve, transfer in valve, and the vacuum valve. They're all shown at the moment in red, and they go to green at each time when they're activated. So to start the system, simply push the start button. We have access then to the slurry feed and also wash enable. So we're now ready to start the automatic filtration. So we push the start button. The status bar on the bottom has now changed to filtering, and when we're ready we can push the fill enable which will introduce slurry into the system. You can see the filtration timer is counting down. When it gets to 0, it rotates the system and it's now filling the next chamber, and it will repeat this for 5 times until the system's full before it discharges. So each time the filtration is complete, the system will charge more slurry into the system through here, and it continues to filter and repeatedly index round until the system is full. Then after a period of 1 to 2 minutes, the filter solids will start to discharge. And it's currently set to 20 seconds filtration time. So every 20 seconds the machine will automatically discharge. As you can see with this already, the moisture content is very low and the cake itself is already a long way towards the drying process. We have demonstrated sub 15% moisture content in this machine when compared to batch equivalents of 20 to 25%. So there is an exponential saving in the drying time when connected to a continuous dryer. You can see by the length of the filter cake, around 25mm long, it's relatively high for the size of the machine. What you can do is reduce the slurry timer to reduce the cake height, and also adjust the moisture content by reducing the filtration timer. With these two parameters, it allows you to optimize cake height and moisture content. So for more information or to book a demonstration, visit our website. That's www.a-w-l.co.uk.